Hello friends, welcome back to Steel Structure Design lecture series. So in this lecture, I will be dealing with structural members, different types of structural member, and out of different members, we will start with design of tension member. Now, whenever we are dealing with structure, it has different components or members. So those are broadly classified as structural members and non-structural members, or structural components or non-structural components. Now, the structural components or structural members are those which take part in load transfer mechanism or which carry the load. Non-structural members do not take part in load transfer mechanism. So depending on the load transfer mechanism or the internal forces developed in the structural members, there is different category. There are different categories of structural members. So starting with this first one, axial members. Axial member means what? The members which are subjected to axial force only. So if you are having member forces which are subjected to axial force only, those will be termed as axial members. Those will be termed as axial member. Now suppose this is one member. So you are having one member and it is subjected to force along its axis. So if you are having such type of member, it will be termed as axial member. Now depending on the nature of force, it will be again subclassified as tension member or compression member. If the member is subjected to pull like this, so in this case, a member is subjected to axial pull. So this will be termed as tension member. And if the member is subjected to axial push, if it is applied on member, then that particular member will be termed as compression member. So this is the classification based on whether the pull is applied or push is applied. If the member force is acting along the axis, then it will be termed as axial member, axial structural member. So in that again, tension member and compression member. Now, next category is flexural member. In flexure members, the load is transferred to shear force and bending moment. The load is transferred to shear force and bending moment. Suppose this is one beam, flexural member is there. So when the member is subjected to lateral load means what? This is the axis. Now perpendicular to the axis, if load is acting, in that case, that particular member will be treated as flexural member. Now in this case, the load acted upon, this is load whatever is acting on this beam. So it will be transferred to the supports. This is first support, this is second support through shear force and bending moment. Now, such type of member is termed as flexural member. Now, in case of flexural member, whatever axial forces are developed, those are always negligible. The next category is beam column members. Now, beam column member means what? If the member is subjected to combination of loads. So, along the axis is also there is load acting along the axis of member. Along with that, it is subjected to bending moment as well. Along with axial force, it is subjected to bending moment as well. So such type of members, these are termed as beam column members. So it carries or transfers the load through both actions, that is axial force. This one pu is axial force and emu is the bending moment, means it's a combination of axial member and flexure member. So this is the next category of structural member. We will start with tension member. Now the practical application or the practical examples where tension member is used. Roof truss, every now and then when we move around, you can visualize the roof truss. Whatever be the configuration of that particular truss. So in this truss, there are tension members. Now this bottommost member, this is also a tension member. So this is commonly known as main tie member. So main tie member of roof truss is always a tension member. Then apart from that, inclined or vertical, depending on the configuration of truss, So another member of roof truss will be considered as tension member, or it will act as a tension member, that is sling. So sling and main tie, these are the common tension members used in field in as far as roof trusses are concerned. Then transmission towers or mobile towers are there. There also tension members are existing. Then in bridges, now be it suspension bridge or roof uh, truss bridge, specifically railway bridges or steel bridges. So in that also bottom chord members are always tension members. So these are some practical examples of tension member. Now different cross sections which you can use as a tension member. Now already in previous session we have seen different cross sections available. Out of those, the most commonly used cross sections are angle section. Now in angle section there are two varieties: equal angle section and unequal angle section. Then pipes, then bars and plates. So these are the most commonly used cross sections as a tension member. No doubt you can prefer channel section or you can prefer I section. So anything can be used, but the most commonly used sections are angle, pipe, bar and plate. Now if you have to design a tension member, so first you should know its behavior, how it is going to fail. So then only you can avoid that failure. Now practically speaking, so when you're being designer, you look to go for design of any structural member. You should be in a position to first see in what way it is going to fail. So say you visit any doctor. So initially doctor looks for symptoms, then only he can treat. Now those symptoms are nothing but the body, the mode of failure in which body is going to fail. Now those symptoms are of different diseases. Those are nothing but modes of failure in that disease. So similarly, structural engineer being doctor of civil structures, so he should be in a position to diagnose that particular structure. So you should be in a position to analyze the modes of failure. Those are nothing but symptoms of failure or symptoms of disease, you can say, as far as civil structures are concerned. So in tension member, the different modes of failure are listed as this. First one, yielding of gross section. Second one, rupture of net section. And third one is block shear. Now gross means what? Gross means entire thing. We commonly think about gross salaries, gross salary and net salary. This is commonly used terminology. Gross means what? Full. And net means what? If there are any reductions or deductions in salary, suppose this hash portion is to be deducted. After deducting this shaded portion, whatever is remaining is the net. If you deduct this hash portion, then whatever remainder is, it's a net section, and this total section, this is gross. So yielding of gross section is the first mode of failure. Then rupture of this section, net section, that is another mode of failure. And third one is block shear. Now we will see one by one. Now yielding of gross section. Now in this lecture, we will limit ourselves to plates as a tension member. We will not go in details of different angle sections used as tension member. In this session, we will limit ourselves to plates only. Now the first mode of failure here we are discussing, yielding of gross section. Now yielding means what? Now yielding is the phenomena in which at constant stress there is continuous increase in strain. Now this is the yield point. Now here from this point on onwards there is continuous increase in strain, but stress is almost constant. So this is what yielding means. At constant stress there is continuous increase in strain. So in yielding, so you are getting excessive deflection. Now if this is plate, it is subjected to tensile forces. So this Pu or T, so this is tensile force applied to this plate. These are the stresses developed. So this entire gross section, which is do not having any puncture, we are not considering any punctures in this gross section. So this entire portion is subjected to stresses. So here you can see this entire cross section is subjected to stress. When it is subjected to excessive stress, so it may fail due to yielding. Means at particular limit, when the load crosses Fy value, then it starts yielding, and when it reaches ultimate value Fu, here you can see in this graph, so when it reaches Fu, that is ultimate level, then it starts giving up, and ultimately it's led to failure. So if such case is taking place, if such failure is taking place, this is just because of yielding of gross section. So yielding is the mode of failure here, and yielding of what? Entire gross section. So here there is no discontinuity observed. You can see entire gross section, and these are stresses developed, and when the stress value exceeds Fy, then ultimately it reaches to Fu, and then finally it breaks. So such type of mode of failure, it is referred as yielding of gross section. Now this one, second one, rupture of net area. Now net area means what? After deduction. Now here bolt hole is created, be it bolt hole or rivet hole. So to occupy that particular bolt, so this discontinuity has to be created. Now in and around this boundary, discontinuous boundary, the stress concentration takes place. So initially when you are applying load, so it will behave in elastic manner up to elastic region. Within the elastic range, it will behave like that. So when Fy is equal, before reaching stress values, before reaching Fy. So when stresses are below Fy, so it will behave in an elastic manner. When you increase loading further, it enters into elastoplastic region. Elastoplastic region means what? If I draw stress diagram for this bending stress diagram, so extreme fiber stresses have reached to value up to Fy, and slowly the inner fibers, they are subjected to same Fy stress. So not entire region is subjected to stresses, but initially it is subjected to Fy at extreme fiber, and slowly steadily the stress start percolating towards neutral axis. The inner fibers are stressed to yield stress value. So this is elastoplastic region, and within that elastoplastic region, so such type of failure will start developing, and ultimately when the load reaches a particular point or plastic value, ultimate value, at that particular junction a plastic zone will start. So this elastoplastic region will be converted into plastic region, and entire fibers of the cross section are subjected to yield stress. So not only extreme fiber stresses, but entire fibers are subjected to yield stress value. This is what plastic section means, and at this level this section will give up and material will fail, or the plate will fail due to a rupture of net area. So here in cross section also you can see the discontinuity. This is the discontinuity just because of this bolt hole. You can refer this as bolt hole, wherein you have to put that bolt hole for connection purpose. So in the vicinity of this, the stress concentration will take place, and slowly steadily when you go on increasing the load, it enters into elastoplastic region, and then ultimately it reaches its plastic value, and then this section fails, and this type of failure is known as rupture failure. This is ultimate. The first one what we have learnt about, that was yielding failure, yielding of gross section, there was no any discontinuity. But in this second case we are talking about rupture failure, that to at ultimate load. So that is dealing with net section after deducting whatever bolt holes or riveters exist in that particular member. The third type of failure is known as block shear. This is third mode of failure. In block shear, the failure takes place due to combination of tension and shear action. Tension and shear. You can see here how the section fails under the action of block shear. So here this connection you can see along the bolt line, and perpendicular to the bolt line. Along the bolt line and perpendicular to the bolt line, that section has totally failed as a block. Entire block has come out. So this total connection, you can see this is gusset plate around. This is gusset plate, and gusset plate is this member is connected with gusset plate. Now, due to the action of combined action of shear, now shear will always taking place along the bolt line. Shear will be along bolt line or in the direction of force. In the direction of force along the bolt line, and tension will be predominant perpendicular to the bolt line or perpendicular to the force direction. Now, this is the direction of force. So here you can see this is tension applied. So ultimate load you can show here. So when this is applied, so you can see here this dotted line indicate the presence of shear and tension. This 2 3 indicates tension plane, whereas 1 2 and 3 4 these are shear actions. So here it is shown this is shear plane. So along the bolt line 1 2 3 4, and in the direction of force, that is important. In the direction of force shear will be there, and perpendicular to the force direction tension will be there. So this you have to keep in mind. So that's why this perpendicular to the force direction, this bolt line, so this is tension plane, and in the direction of force this is shear plane. Now in this case, due to combined action of this shear and tension, such type of failure is taking place. So is entire block gets removed. So, and when entire block is getting removed, so that type of failure is termed as block shear. And block shear failure is predominantly because of combined action of tension and shear. Shear is taking place along the bolt line in the direction of force or tensile load, whereas tension plane exists perpendicular to the load direction. So it is explained here: gross shear area, net shear area. Now you can see here this yield in tension, yield in shear. So this is tension plane and this is shear plane. So ATG, AVG, then ATN and AVG. Rupture in tension. Rupture is always of net section. Rupture in tension. So that's why it is referred as ATN. Rupture is related to net area and tension, that's why this the area which is resisting that rupture failure in tension is given by ATN. Then yield in shear, so the area gross area is always resisting yielding, and that too in shear. So that's why this area is designated as AVG. V for shear, G for gross. So yielding is always resisted by gross area and rupture is resisted by net area. So it's block shear failure is combination of yielding and rupture failure. You can indirectly say it's a combination of yielding and rupture. So similar to this, here ATN and AVN, this indicates area resisting rupture in tension and area resisting shear in net section. Similarly here ATG and AVN, ATG and AVG. So these are the 4 areas which will offer resistance to block shear failure. Which are those areas? ATG, AVG and ATN, AVN. So ATN, AVG and AVN, ATG. So these are the 4 areas which are going to resist block shear failure of plate or tension member. Now the guidelines related to tension member design are presented in IS 800/2007 in section 6, ranging from page number 32 to 33. On these 2 pages, the different clauses are given. So clause number 6.1, it gives you overall brief about tension member. Clause number 6.2 gives you expression to calculate design strength due to yielding of gross section. So it's TDG. It is a design strength due to yielding. Then design strength due to rupture, it's denoted by TDN. And design strength due to block shear, it is given by TDB. So out of these three, whichever is least, that will be taken as design strength of tension member. So we are just to finish with this session. So before I conclude, now this TD has to be always greater than PU, that is ultimate load acting on the member. To design or to confirm that the designed member is safe, PU value should be always than design strength of member, or the ultimate load which is acting on member, it should be always less than the design tensile strength of member. Now design tensile strength is the least of TDG, TDN and TDB. So for this session we will stop here. In next session we will start with angle section. So design of tension member using angle section. So different aspects related to angle section tension member. So here we have seen modes of failure typically applicable to plates only. We are not gone in details of angle section as tension member here. So in next session we will continue with that. We will study in detail different aspects of tension member design using angle section. Till then, thank you. All the best for your preparations. Thanks a lot.